We're live.
We are live.
Oh shit, the microphone's way over here. Hold on. I got the fucking thing. I'm not even fucking set up. Oops, sorry.
Oh wait, let me turn on my
There we go.
Here.
You usually have your phone ready. Alright, sorry, we're live. Hi everybody. It's Sunday Funday. It's blizzarding out. Is what it's doing.
Yeah, it is like it's been like snowing since
nonstop.
Pretty much 11 today.
Like we're buried. It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That means I'm going to work late tomorrow.
I'm supposed to be in Providence at 10. I wonder what that's going to be all about. Oh, I think we have one person.
Hold
As I
on,
babble. He's going to bring it up on his phone because the StreamYard thing is kind of laggy with the number. Yeah, YouTube.
StreamYard, hold on.
Oh, you got to, you do it that way, StreamYard. So anyways, we're going to talk about, while he's fumbling over here, we're going to talk about some kind of protection things that we could do. So face it, here in the time of COVID, we need all the protection, the self-protection, self-healing, just self-care that we can get.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things is the cats are being spaz brats. Come on, get the stepping cats. All right. So yeah, we're going to talk about some protection things. I want to talk a little bit, about good old fashioned black candles.
Hi, Trinity.
But yeah, let's say hi. But I got nothing on my screen because StreamYard's laggy.
Yeah.
Oh, hi Kay. How are you?
Hi Kay.
My StreamYard. Oh, there.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things you can do for protection, cleansing, purifying against negative energy, against crosswork, curses, hexes, jinxes, all that negative stuff.
Oh crap! I should have grabbed a singing bowl. That's a big part of healing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then over there.
Yeah.
And we're all
Hi, Denise.
Hello, Whispers of
Okay. What do we want to start with? Because I just remembered singing bowl, cleansing, purifying. We can start with basics. First, very, very basic. So let's start off with protection of very, very simple things that you have lying around. Because a lot of the time, there's a lot of witches out there that are just starting out.
Hi, Leanne.
We don't have a lot of money to go spend on all these elaborate ingredients that you need. Because certain people are like, oh, yeah, this spell requires like 15 ingredients. But sometimes simple is better, too, and can be just as effective.
Absolutely. Hey, look, nothing.
Hi, Sonia. Hi, Denise.
Look, the plow is breaking our street in half again. I swear they're going to break that pipe again, and we're going to have the floods.
Well, no, because I think it's stupid. They fixed the pipe, because we had a pipe, our next-door neighbors.
No. It wasn't even the next-door neighbors. The water main in our street, right in front of the house, broke during the last storm. So it just, shot up through not shot up through the street like a big gush. It
flooded.
But it all flooded out there.
Yeah.
It took them 2 days. I called them 2 days later. They fixed it. Because I guess we are not a priority down here on our little dead-end street. Ice skating out there because it was like ankle-deep ice. So they fixed it, but when they tarred over it, it's like this sloppy-ass hump. And now twice the snowplow, because it's blizzarding again, the snowplow comes by and he hits the hump.
The chunky gravel.
Yeah,
because they
and it just goes
flatten it.
And it goes boom. And it's like twice the guy just went by, boom. And I can just imagine it's going to knock the pipe. It's going to crack the pipe again, and we're going to have another flood. Oh, here it comes.
Oh, he didn't hit it this time. He learned. He went to go slowly. But it's stupid that they didn't even go over with a steamroller or something to flatten the gravel. They literally just poured it in and left it there.
Yeah.
So it's like all lumpy and bumpy.
Yeah.
It's just, and it looks stupid. It literally looks like
they
cut out this rectangle thing in the road and then poured stuff over it, and went, okay, let's go home.
That's actually
All
what they
good.
did.
Literally, that's what it looks like.
That's literally what they did. You should have seen them trying to get the street apart.
Yeah.
Anyways, that disaster.
So protection and cleansing.
So yeah, nothing's wrong with the good old fashioned baking out some sage. The house cleansing. So I'll talk about a quick house cleansing ritual that I do. And it's literally, I will get a sage stick and I start in, I usually start in the, what is this? The northeast corner, but that just happens to be where my crystals and my altars are. And I go around the house clockwise. And in front of every window, so I have the sage stick all smoking, and I'll have the lighter just to make sure it stays. And in front of every window or any portal, windows, doors, I will just make the sign of the cross and a pentacle, and the pentacle I'll do clockwise as well, because that's forward protection. And I'll go around the whole house doing that, and getting it. I get it all nice and smoky, sagey, and that's my quick house cleansing.
Yeah, and with the sage, also blowing in whatever direction. Everyone has different techniques. So, for example, hi Robin and MK. Who was it I just saw? Oh, Denise just said she does it counterclockwise. Now, when I burn the sage, I actually do it differently from Dave. I start at the far end of the house and work my way towards the front of the house, because it's like, to me, you're taking all the negative energy and you're pushing it towards the front of the house to push it away and out the door.
Yeah, so the clockwise counterclockwise is I don't even know if it's something I've made up, but in any kind of circle casting or anything that I do that requires movement, to me, it's almost like time. If you're going clockwise, it's for future. If you're going counterclockwise, it's almost like a turn back. So
we never did our intro.
I know we didn't do our intro.
Let's do that very quickly.
Well, let me finish counterclockwise.
Okay, yeah, counterclockwise, clockwise.
So, and that's just the way I done it. Like, if it's something past related, I will go counterclockwise. But if it's like for cleansing and protecting the house, I think of that as this point forward. So I go clockwise. It's just a kind of me thing.
Yeah. Everyone does it differently.
Okay, you want the dinghy here?
Scroll down.
And we're doing this thingy here,
right?
this one here, right?
Oh,
I got it.
Just picked your nose on TV.
I got it right. Well, at least I didn't blow it on TV. It would have been something.
Oh, that was funny. Hi, Sophie.
Now, what about the coconut thing?
So this is actually a cool technique that I learned from my padrino, well, ex-padrino, because he kind of got real weird and just blew up in my face one day, and I was like, okay, whatever, I don't have time for this energy. But he did teach me a couple cool things. So he taught me this really cool coconut cleansing spell. And it's super, super simple. All it requires is 3 coconuts that are full of water. And obviously, to check if they have water, you just pick up the coconut and you shake it. And they have to be
watch.
full.
You grab the coconut and you just shake it. If it goes, if it goes gloosh, glosh, gloosh, glosh, it's got
the coconut's
got water in it.
So another thing that you need is cascarilla powder. It's usually like the cascarilla actually, to make cascarilla, it's literally just crushed up eggshell, but they have the pre-crushed in these like kind of ketchup looking packet things. Well, not like the packets, but like they're the little ketchup cups. So you take the cascarilla powder, you rub it all over all 3 coconuts. You place them in kind of like a triangle formation on a plate. And then you take you have a black candle, reversing candle. You place it in the center of the coconuts. You center the coconuts around the reversing candle, light the candle, and you just let it burn all the way down. And once it burns all the way down, you take the coconuts and you chuck them as far away from your street as possible. Actually, there's a couple different versions I've heard of how you dispose the coconuts. You can either chuck them out your door, kick them out. You can either take them, dump them in your trash can, or you can take them and throw them at the center of a crossroads. But when you do, you want to make sure that when you turn around, you don't look back. Just keep walking forward and don't look back, because you will attract all that negativity back into your house. And I have a really funny story about it.
Yes, he knows what I'm thinking of.
So,
tell it.
When I did this coconut bath, I decided to chuck it. So I took the coconuts and I chucked them across
right out the front door.
Right out the front door. Right out the front door. And the next day, Dave and I were sitting watching TV. This cat.
Psst. The cat's a misbehaving.
Oh, you motherfucker.
He's looking at you like, yeah, what?
So Dave and I were sitting watching TV, and all of a sudden we hear this little girl's voice going, "Why is there a coconut in front of our door?" And I go, "Dave, I think they found my coconut." And our neighbor, she was like, "I don't know. I don't think that's a coconut. It must be a soccer ball." And we hear the girl go, "No, look, it's an actual coconut. What is this doing here?"
Yeah,
and she goes,
like, we don't have coconuts around here.
And Dave and I are sitting laughing so hard. We're like, "Oh, well, they just absorbed all the negativity that I tossed right out the door." But it was hilarious.
And they look up at the trees every so often, seeing if they can find coconuts. And it's like an oak tree out there.
It was just hilarious listening to this little girl.
Oh man, that's some funny stuff.
So yeah, that's one way to do coconut cleansing.
Wait a minute. Leanne says, if you live on a hill, just go bowling.
Right.
Down she goes.
Now, another thing that you can do if you don't have enough money to get obviously 3 coconuts, or you want something super, super simple, is you can take a coconut. You don't need the cascarilla powder. You don't need candles. All you do is you take a coconut and you, no joke, starting at the back of your house, the way I do it is you kick the coconut all around your house on the floor. Then you take it starting at the corner of the furthest room in the house. I don't remember if you roll it on the walls, all 4 parts of the walls of the room, and then move on to the next, and then kick it out the door. But that's another simple way to do a cleansing, because essentially all it is the coconut itself is absorbing all the negative energy.
You do that. They do that with the egg too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You get the egg and you go each room of the house.
Yeah, cleansing.
And then
you just roll the egg around.
Yeah, and then you just either go outside and smash it, throw it in the garbage or whatever.
Yeah. There's actually a cool trick with an egg to see if there's any negativity in your house. You just take a what's it called? A cup. Well, not a cup. What's the thing that's like glass? Oh, glass. You take a glass, a drinking glass. You fill it with water. You crack the egg, and then let the yolk spill into the cup. If you see little tendrils,
or the yolk or the yellow part.
No, the whole egg.
Oh, the whole egg. You
just plop it right in.
Even the yellow part.
Yes.
Okay.
Because what happens is if you see little tendrils form that go down to the bottom, I think that's a sign that, well, wouldn't there be tendrils anyways?
I don't know. I've never put eggs. This is a glass of water.
Neither have I. But I thought that's what someone told me, was that if there's tendrils that start to form, that there's negativity in your house.
I don't know.
But
we have to try it. We'll have to give that a try.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me of another way for cleansing is to take camphor, like the camphor block, and put it in a glass of water and place it in whatever room that is negativity. It's actually a good method for if you have nightmares at when you sleep. you can put the camphor block in the water, put the glass under your bed, and that will absorb any of the negative nightmares that you have. All right,
Yeah. There's a couple of candle spells that I have.
Yes, mop cleansing. A simple mop cleanse that I learned.
Oh yeah, you could do that with
you
Florida
just
water.
take Florida water. You can also take water, squeeze a little bit of lemon, add a bit of salt, pray over it with whatever intent that it is for. That's like the simplest cleansing water that you can create, and then dip the mop in and just mop all the floors.
Yeah. Yep.
Florida water is also very good for cleansing.
Water.
Actually, right before you do that, I have a recipe that I found to make Florida water. It is
just buy it
somewhere in here. Dave, do your thing while I'm looking.
All right, I'm going to talk. So a quick little spell. That's good for, if you feel like some negativity is being sent your way. I usually get a black candle, and I will carve my intent with my athame or my knife. Just protection, positive energy. Just carve anything in there that's positive, and I'll anoint that with just some general anointing oil, and I crumble up sage and a little bit of cannabis, and I roll the candle in it, and then I light it. And it's usually the little black Hanukkah candles, the real thin that burn real quick. And I'll light that, and then I'll say a little piece over it. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but thoughts can never harm me. And I'll repeat that as I'm anointing the candle, getting my intent on the candle, and then I will say that again. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but thoughts can never harm me, as I light the candle. And that'll protect you if you think someone's sending you a little bit of bad juju, if you please, or if you would. Another thing is the good old-fashioned witch's bottle. We have a couple of them back there. I know I did one. And I actually have a video. It might be on my old channel. We might have to do a show on witches bottles over again. But I had a video that all of the different ingredients you want to put in your witches bottle and how to seal the top. And you could do a little.
Well, describe like what goes in a witch's bottle.
Well, I usually it's usually pretty nasty when making, at least from my reference material, my books. It's usually pretty nasty. I mean, you'll smash a mirror shards, rusty nails, rusty water. You could put oil in there too, and some vinegar. Pee. I put pee and spit in there. Just the nastiest, dog poop, and you put that in there. The thought of it is it's like an energy landmine that if someone negative comes onto your property, all of that nasty gets them. That's why. What have you put in some witches bottles?
I actually have never made a witch's bottle yet.
I thought you had one out there. You have a bottle out there because there's two of them out there in the back corner.
No, that was Hex for one of my managers.
Oh,
that's out there. Oh my god,
it's got a Hex out there. Great.
Yeah. No, remember that was the time I made my very first Hex, and then I got the flu like 2 days later.
Yeah. Doesn't want to believe it.
Well, that's because I had never done a Hex before, and I was stupid, and I didn't take precautions. I didn't cleanse myself before and after. I didn't purify, protect, didn't wear covering, proper stuff. I literally just did the Hex and then shoved it out there.
And magic comes at a cost. If you're going to do a Hex like that, you need to sacrifice something.
Oh, that's a good question. Pull up Leanne's thing there.
Which one?
Right there.
Right there.
So Leanne just said, Lucian and Dave, can you speak on how you coordinate magics? Do you always work separately, or do you divide it up like household chores or what?
No, we will combine them. We will do for instance,
combine them.
Like for instance, if I'm saging the house he'll be walking right behind me with one of his rituals. We fit them in together.
Yep. So what he does is when he's saging the house, what I'll do is I actually have my own little spray bottle, but I think that's in my car because it's in my car because I brought it to work one day. But I have a bottle, a cool little it's a plant mister bottle that I found online. I forgot from where. I think it was eBay. But I fill that with a little bit of water, mostly water, obviously, and because I don't want to destroy anything, and then a little bit of Florida water, and I'll follow Dave around, and I'll just mist the area right behind him.
Yep, and he will be saying his chant or whatever, and I'll be, and we do that for a lot of different spells. We'll do it together.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, like, for example, a lot of my incantations and stuff are a combination of sometimes in English, sometimes in French, sometimes in Latin. So if we have to do a spell together, we will say them. And Dave only does his.
I only do my incantations in English because if I don't, if the words don't go in here and mean stuff to my dome, it's just babble to me. Yeah. And then we go back and forth, but not. I mean, I respect the way he does it because if it means, it's all the intent, really. But for me, for that intent to work, I've got to understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. So if we have to do the same spell incantation, I'll say it in whatever language it is, and Dave will say the version in English. Mm-hmm. So I give him the translation. Or sometimes, for example, if we're doing a candle spell, Dave's very, very good at doing them. He will carve the intent. I will supply with the oil that's needed and the herbs. He'll roll it up in the herbs. Yep. He'll create the incantation parts, and I will.
Yeah, we'll sit, and
we just kind of combine things.
Yeah, and we will sit and we will light the candle and we'll incant together.
This fucking cat! I swear to God. Okay, I'll be back because I got to feed him.
The cat's a brat. The cat's a batting.
Talk to them about some other stuff.
Okay.
And then singles and whatnot.
Please don't kill yourself.
I'm not.
This looks dangerous. Oh, man. Yeah, there's going to be a crash soon. No, this is scary. I'm scared. Okay. Oh, this is what I live with. Another cool one is called the Chill Out, which I have one going. If you feel someone's trying to cause you harm, here's what you do. You write the name. I'm going to read from this. I get this from a book. Write the name of the person who may cause harm to themselves or others 3 times on a piece of paper. Draw 3 circles around it. Fold the paper up into thirds and then thirds again. Tie it up with red string and white string. It could be, yarn or any sort of string. You want red and white. And what you do is you fill a cup with water almost to the top. You put that little piece of paper in there and you put it in the freezer. So what you'll do is, before you put it in the freezer, as you're doing the paper part, you got the water and you're folding the paper. You did 3 times one way, 3 times the other way. After you wrote the names on and circled it 3 times, you say this incantation. Let this person from now on be unable to do harm to me, chilled and frozen and gone from my mind. Now I'll attract someone good and kind. And you put that in the freezer, and as long as it's frozen, that person cannot do you harm. Let's pop to the comments. Oh, we still got this comment up there. Yes, Lucian. I have probably seen the Mister in the previous. Yeah, he's used them in previous videos. Are you coming back?
Yep. It's there the green spray bottle thing that I've used.
Yeah. That's a good idea instead of washing the walls for someone who doesn't have any mobility. Yeah.
What's this? Just remembering a spell.
Spoonie Magic Tip. Not interesting. I don't know what that means.
No, and that's a good idea instead of washing the walls for somebody who doesn't have energy or mobility. Spoonie Magic Tip.
Yeah, what's a Spoonie Magic Tip?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out.
Okay.
Wait, what did you mean, Kay?
Yeah, what's a Spoonie Magic Tip?
And Leanne just said, I love freezer spells. Please keep this video up so I can copy yours later.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, we'll keep it up. And actually, if you want to...
Leanne, are you in our Facebook group? Because what I can do is when this is done, I can copy and paste the link into our Facebook group.
Yeah.
And for those who have not joined our Facebook group, it is Crossed Paths.
Oh, hold on. I can
Facebook.
put the thingy up.
Oh, literally the title of our
all this fancy
channel.
Stuff that we haven't even done the fanciness.
Yeah. And while Dave's doing that, I'm going to talk about apples. Because apples, I forgot, are a very, very good source of protective power. Because when you take a whole apple, you cut it in half. Wait, I'm trying to figure out which way. Oh, half. If you open it up, it forms a natural pentagram, which is really cool.
Oh,
so apples can be used.
Yeah, you got to cut the apple cross width like that.
The first time I did it, I cut it like down.
Yeah, you just get
and
the
I
stem.
just went, I was like, what the hell is that? There's nothing there. But no, I've used apples in protection spells. So I was just remembering this protection spell that I did where I took an apple, I cut it in half, and then, like a little slice. Then I took the apple, set it on a plate. I took bay leaf, wrote the name of the person that I wanted to protect on one side. On the other side, I wrote protection. I pinned the bay leaf to the apple, set the apple back on the plate, and then surrounded the apple with a layer of black salt, a circle of black salt, a circle of red brick dust, and then a circle of graveyard dirt. That's the simplest, most effective protection spell that I have used, especially if I don't have a Poppet at hand. And just for those who don't know, Poppet is a doll used in representational magic to act as someone else. But yeah, because graveyard dirt, black salt, and red brick dust are 3 really powerful ingredients, mostly used in hoodoo for protection work.
Keep going. I'm trying to find.
Yes. Cut the apple horizontally. Thank you. I was forgetting the word in my brain. Clearly. The spray bottle is a good tip for a spoonie or someone with mobility issues. Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay. So I got to my...
And hi, Darcy. Oh. Did you find it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I didn't know if already. So there's mojo bags as well. And there's different... And mojo bags could do many different things. Let me see. This one, let me see.
And in hoodoo, they're referred to as Grisi bags. I use Grisi bags all the time for my work.
Yeah, and you could do it for success in your work, healing, all different things. What kind of so for protection, I would put, what would you put in for protection? I would put a little crystal in there, maybe a quartz.
Oh, I'll talk about mine after because I have a whole system for my Grisi bags. Yeah,
and I would put some sage in there. You could also put, what's that? Not sandalwood. I can't think of the wood. Palo Santo stick. And I would put a couple of drops of patchouli on there, and that'll kind of do you good.
Ew, that's nasty.
What?
There's a Band-Aid stuck inside this.
Yeah. Make a little mojo bag. Keep small amulets, talismans. Oh, small amulets and talismans. Look at we're wearing. So this is something that
I'm going to talk about this.
That Lucian did.
Oh yeah,
but talismans. You know,
we each have
the sun.
These cool little voodoo coffin amulets that actually separate. Let me take mine off.
Yeah, you can pop that off because I'm too lazy for that nonsense.
So we showed this in the last live we did yesterday.
Yeah.
But this is the amulet that we have. It's a little tiny coffin with a cross and a skull Oh, there we go. And then it actually separates so that you can place like an herb or something inside when you're doing your work. So then it just covers back up like that.
Yeah.
And these talismans can be used. It's like an all-purpose talisman. So you can use it for protection, love, hexing, whatever you want to do. It's an all-purpose talisman.
Let me see. Bay leaves.
What?
Love working with bay leaves. That's a very good because that's bay leaves, a laurel leaf, and it's one of Apollo's favorites. And Apollo is a great god for protection. Let's see.
That's a good question. So Robin just asked, what are they? What are mojo bags or Grisi bags?
Yeah.
So essentially a Grisi bag or a mojo bag is essentially just a bag. It's literally a piece of cloth. In the center of it, you put herbs, curios, crystals, whatever you want, and then you tie it up, or you fold it back up, and then you just tie it around, and it's literally like this tiny little pouch thing that you carry with you.
You can wear it. You can put it in your sock.
Yep. For me, when I create my Grisi bags, there's like a whole system on it. So, for example, in my Grisi bags contain several key components, and these are very different from the way Dave does his.
Yeah.
So in mine, my Grisi bags always have to have an herb, a zoological, a mineral, a metal, and an oil. And each Grisi bag has to contain at least 1 to 13 ingredients, and these ingredients always have to be odd numbers, and you can have no more than 13 ingredients. Why you can't have more than 13, then it just becomes way too complicated. But so when you're thinking about the number of ingredients, you need to include those 5 components, but those 5 are also part of the number of ingredients that you have. So you always have those 5, and then you can add the extra if you need more herbs or whatnot. So herbs are just herbs that we know of. Zoological represents like animal bones, animal parts. Minerals are like crystals. Also like sand can be considered a mineral. Metal is, for example, I use pennies. You can use pennies, coins, there we go, or what, I guess literally anything actual metal as a representation. And then the oil is used to heat up the Grisi bag. And then once you have the Grisi bag all made up, then what I do is I pass the Grisi bag over all 4 elements. So I'll have a candle to represent fire. I'll have incense to represent air, graveyard dirt or just dirt to represent earth, and a glass of water to represent water. And then obviously you pass the Grisi bag over air, the incense, the fire, you take the dirt, you just sprinkle it over it. You take the water, you kind of like splatter at it. And then you basically just tell the Grisi bag its purpose. You dab it with a little bit of rum, because essentially a Grisi bag is like a heart, a little heart that you're holding in your hand. And when you have the oil in there, wait, is it the oil? Hold on, I'm trying to remember this. There's a whole part that I remembered, something with the heartbeat. Oh no, the herbs. Wait, is it the herbs? Something. Oh no. Okay, so what happens is the rum constricts the herbs, so it creates that kind of constriction. And then when you add the oil, it's meant to contract. So essentially, you're creating that heartbeat to ignite the Grisi bag, and then you just blow onto it to give it the gift of life. I know that sounds so complicated, but
it's way too complicated.
Not that complicated when I show you. As I'm like describing it, I'm like, wow, that sounds really complicated.
I usually put some herbs, a mineral. I don't do the animal parts. I don't want that hanging around my neck. But I do.
He hates my chicken feet, which can be used as a protective charm, by the way.
Yeah, but I will put intentful things in there. Like I will put, if I'm making a mojo bag, and let's say I'm working with Apollo, I'll put bay leaves in there.
Yeah.
Just
I've like gone to work though with a chicken foot on a chain at work, and people are like, "Oh, what's that interesting thing?" I'll be like, "It's a chicken foot." They're like, "Oh, what's that for?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just used as like a protection amulet in New Orleans." I kind of like make it a little less like, oh, it's not as creepy as it looks.
But it is. Here's an interesting one I found in the book here. And I want to bring it up because it comes from the Italian Strega. Strega? Is that it? Strega. Anyways, this Italian Strega spell for a friend or loved one is best performed at midnight of a full moon. You'll need a fresh lemon. It's called the Lemon Protection Charm. You'll need a fresh lemon, 3 white candles, and a box of colored pins. At the stroke of midnight, light the candles and stick the lemon full of pins, repeating as you do. Queen of Moon and Starry Sea, Diana, I present to thee. With each pin, I cast a charm. Keep me or keep blank from all harm.
I've actually done a lemon protection spell charm.
So that's an interesting one. I've never done that one. I actually think I want to do that. Hold on, I'm going to...
And in Hoodoo, it's interesting because with lemon is actually a sour ingredient. So actually that gets even more complicated because lemons are used in protection spells, but lemon is sour. And then I'll branch off later on some other video into like cold, hot, sour, sweet, what they are generally, because when you do add sweet ingredients, it's to attract something. If you use hot, you're essentially amplifying. So for example, if you add cayenne pepper as an ingredient, you're amplifying and heating up the spell. If you use honey, you're slowing things down.
But lemon is sour. You would think that's going to repel. That's protection.
Sour.
No?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Sour is to like sour a situation, make it go wrong for the other person. So yeah, I guess that's right. Why? Duh. So Robin just asked a quick question. He said, Lucian, that little tin you made for Dave with the poppet in it, is that a mojo box? No, it's not. It's just literally a tin that I put the
poppet in.
The poppet in because it looked cool. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool way to store a poppet to make it look less conspicuous. So if you have friends over, they're like, instead of making like a big elaborate voodoo box with a doll and pictures on it, people aren't gonna be like, what's that creepy thing? You can have it in plain sight, and because it's an Altoid tin, people aren't gonna think twice, thinking that there's poppets in it, except they're probably gonna open it up and be like, where are the mints at?
So MK has an interesting question that we said we use bay leaves for Apollo. I do. In Mojo Bags, something that kind of confused me about spell offerings is that you can put offerings in with other spell ingredients. Can the whole bag be an offering? I kind of do offering stuff separate than my Mojo Bags. But you are right. It's the very same ingredients. When I'm doing an offering for Apollo, it would definitely have, bay leaves in there. Sorry, brain disconnect. I'm buffering. But yeah, I've never really combined. I've never really given much thought to whether the Mojo Bag.
Of course, actually, you can create an offering Mojo Bag because it's essentially its ingredients.
Would you burn the bag?
When you create a Mojo Bag, you're essentially creating it for a specific purpose. Mm-hmm. So, for example, I'll give you a recipe that I have in a minute. But yeah,
how would you offer it? How would you offer the bag? Would you just throw it in a fire pit or something like that?
No, like you can essentially put things that are related to that deity. So, for example, if they have a specific stone that they like, or there's always a list of herbs that are related to that deity, you can put in that Mojo Bag.
But what would you do with that Mojo Bag?
Place it on their altar. Or carry it around with you for protection.
But that's not an offering. An offering for me, when I'm doing an offering, I'm like,
oh yeah, well, if you're, sorry, I like, but yeah, you can put it on your altar as an offering.
Okay, all right, and that makes sense.
Yeah. Absolutely. And yes, where are you? Dory said she feeds the bag with oils.
Yeah.
You can, because oil is one of the ingredients. Sometimes I'll feed it with oil. Sometimes it's with rum. It really depends on what you're doing.
Yeah, I feed mine with
feed
scents.
the bag with oil or rum every month, because essentially you created that heartbeat. You ignited that mojo bag, so you need to keep it feeding in order for it to work.
Yeah, I'll use an essential oil. Like I said, a lot of times, because I like the smell of it, I use patchouli, and I'll put a couple drops every other day or something like that, every so often. It keeps me smelling nice too.
There was one more thing. Oh, about the Grisi bags. After you awaken them, essentially, in Hoodoo belief, it's important that you keep it on you, skin to mojo contact, for at least 7 days. That's a way to get you to connect to your Grisi bag, because essentially it's an extension of who you are, or whoever's target it is. They would do the same thing. So, like, for the first 7 days, I'll either tie, once I've tied the bag, I'll then extend the string to create a necklace, and I'll just wear it inside my shirt for 7 days, or I'll take it, I'll stuff it in my sock underneath my jeans so it doesn't look weird.
What do you do when you're showering?
You can take it off when you shower, obviously. That's the only time. A lot of the time people say that you can't reveal your Grisi bag to anyone, or else it will break the effect of the Grisi bag, which is very important. And then once the Grisi bag has been in contact with yourself for at least 7 days, then you can carry it with you, like in your pocket or your purse or wherever.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, you're welcome. Yeah, I try to follow like some sort of logic when I I guess I'm more logic oriented with a lot of my practice.
You are asking a lot of really good questions, Robin, because he just asked, do you use rattles or bells in your spells?
Bells, we use bells
in your spells. What's it rhyme? That rhymed.
And singing bowls, but we use bells. I use my singing bowls.
Not particularly in spell work. For me, I use bells or rattles when it comes to calling something. So, for example, when I light my ancestral altar and I want to summon my ancestrals, I'll ring a bell. Or a lot of the times when people are calling a different deity, they will use a bell or rattle as a form of like, hey, I'm trying to reach out to you, pick up the phone, kind of thing. Yep. That sounded weird after I said that. Pick up the phone. I'm ringing.
Yes. Whispers of 3 to clear the energy before a spell. Yep. That's why I break out the singing bowls. There's nothing better at cleansing, and just ringing a singing bowl is very cleansing. I will cleanse and I'll cleanse items, crystals, whatever. We just buy them. I put them in the bowl and I ring them. It just cleans that energy. When you buy a crystal from a crystal shop, 100 people just touch it, and they get all their glymanized on there. And I put that in a singing bowl, and I ring it until it rattles. You'll hear it go.
Yeah, it like rattles.
And then it's all clean. All that gook energy is gone.
And then what I normally do is whenever I am going to do a spell or anything, I always, as Denise said, clear the energy. So I'll spray the area. I'll spray myself with Florida water. I always wear some kind of head covering and something on my feet, because those are the two main access points of any kind of energy. And you want to block them so that if you send something out into the universe, it's not going to come back and come straight through you again. So I wear some kind of hat and at least socks on my feet to cover them. I'll spritz my area with Florida water. I'll do the spell, and then I'll cleanse the area again with Florida water at the very end, just to reset the energy, because you don't want to have that energy of whatever you just cast lingering around.
Yeah. And Kay says she uses a tuning fork. Absolutely. Yeah, that'll definitely.
Okay,
work as well.
I actually do. I'm gonna have to revisit doing another ancestral altar, because I redid my ancestral altar really differently from the last time I did it, and it's been a while since I've talked about ancestral altars, how to set them up, what mine looks like, because mine's changed over the years. So thank you for that idea, Kay. I will actually do another ancestral altar video Sometime this week, probably tomorrow. Maybe. But definitely sometime this week. What was I going to get?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just going to bring this up unless you have something to add.
Well, go ahead, you do it because I might add.
Important. I just want to talk about this because a lot of the time I get all these questions of people asking me, okay, so I just did this protection spell. I just did this hex, or I just did this whatever kind of spell. And a lot of the time people are like, okay, so I did the spell, but what do I do with the remains?
Oh,
so I wanted to talk about the laws of deployment and disposal. Now, what does deployment versus disposal mean? And I have my little notes here. So deployment is basically where you place a spell so that it continues to work. Disposal is where you get rid of a spell or where you're going to destroy it. So a way to remember this is some spells can deploy, some you have to destroy. Bam, bam. So an example of sigils that you would have to destroy in order to activate them would be sigils or petitions, because the only way to activate them is to rip them in half or sometimes burn them.
Burn them. I burn petitions like that.
I talked about wearing shoes and a head covering when you're doing work. So deployment. Here is a little list of where to put your remains once you're done. So to keep something close to you, you want to bury it in your backyard. If you don't have a yard, you can kind of put it into a
potted plant.
A potted plant. Yeah. There we go. That's a good idea. To attract something towards you, you want to bury it in the front of the house, or in an area that's kind of hidden. So, for example, out in front here, we have a gravel driveway, and then it's kind of like we have these steps that go down, and that's kind of all we have. But we do have these
the flower beds.
Empty random bricks lying around. So what I did was actually dug a little bit, and I shoved one of my spells underneath under a brick, so you can't see it. To destroy its influence, you burn it. Oh, so ignore my thing about burning okay, so that's the thing. Let me go back for a second. Sigils and petitions. To activate it, you want to rip them. You don't want to burn them. A lot of the time people burn them.
Oh, see, I do my different.
But in Hoodoo, you want to rip it, because when you burn something, you're destroying its influence, which kind of makes sense to me.
Oh.
To move something away from you or to sink something, you throw it in running water. And that refers to, you can throw it in a river, like rivers are moving, sorry. A river, stream, you can pour it down a sink, you can flush it down the toilet if need be, you can pour it down the water drain, or the shower drain. To disperse something over distance, leave it at a crossroads. But the thing about the crossroads is, the number one thing you don't want to leave at a crossroads is a hex, because a hex will spread to anyone who passes it. If you aren't in an area where there's crossroads, so for example, a crossroads is literally any road that crosses itself. So for example, we have a stoplight, but obviously I'm not going to walk out to the main intersection over here and stand in the center of moving traffic. So we have like all these little side roads that have little intersections, and we literally have.
You're gonna poke me in the eye.
Oh, sorry. We literally have like a little crossroads right at the end of our partial street here.
Yeah, he's the creepy neighbor that's throwing things away at the crossroads.
One thing is if you don't have a crossroads, you can always create one. You can just take a piece of paper. You can create an X or a cross, or an X. Well, they're the same thing, just clear. But you can also take dirt from a crossroads and create a cross with that.
Hold on one second.
For 24 hours.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Where are you going? Okay.
I just gotta do a little. Oh, knock the camera over.
To fix an influence, you use a 5-spot pattern. So basically, what a 5-spot pattern is it's literally 4 dots with a dot in the center to fix something. So what it means by that is, so say you are doing a specific spell that requires something in the room. What that 5-spot pattern is you would place something in all 4 corners of the room, and then if you have like a table in the center of your room, you'd place it under the table. To work by spirits, you want to bury your remains in a graveyard, and obviously when you're doing that, you want to leave offerings. For example, 3 dimes, some rum, fresh flowers, something to appease the spirit that you're working with, because you don't want to just take your remains, dump it on top of the grave, and go, "Hey, here's the spell, work with it," because that's kind of disrespectful. You want to make a relationship with the spirit before you just kind of dump something on their grave that they have to live with. Another good way that I actually did not know about is, instead of, if you don't feel comfortable digging up a lot of dirt to get something in, is you can take a cup, a small cup, put the remains in the cup, and then dig a tiny hole, put the cup inside, and then just kind of cover the hole back up. To hide something, you want to conceal it in a tree. If you're going to be working in secret, you want to hide it in a food or drink. If you're working by stealth, that just means hiding something in your shoe, in a pocket, the lining of a coat, and then sewing it back up, or stuff like that. If you're trying to strengthen, you throw your remains facing to the east. If you're trying to weaken, throw it to the west. And if you're trying to make something rise and then fall, you want to place it in a tidal pool. And those are the doctrines. Sorry, not the doctrine, the laws of deployment and disposal. Because I've gotten a lot of questions on what you do with remains. And in Hoodoo, those are the several different ways that we that we dispose of our spell remnants once we're done. Your sound is far away now that Dave got... Oh, it's because, sorry, he turned the microphone away when his large ass hit it. So, does anyone have any questions thus far? Any topics that you want us to talk about? Because in my book here, I actually have a couple cool ingredients for oils, protective oils and stuff, if you guys are interested.
I've been going to that bathroom for a while.
Hold on, I'm just trying to find them. So, a good oil, and this is the ¡1 oil I use. Oh, jeez. What a beautiful sight. What a beautiful... No, Dave. The world did not need to see that. Sorry, everybody. You got to witness me knock the microphone off.
Oh, I did. Okay. Oh, shit. All right.
Claire, I'll talk about that in 1 second. I'm just pulling up... where is it? So the *1 oil that I use for the strongest form of protection is the Fiery Wall of Protection oil. And in this oil, you put ground frankincense, myrrh resin, cayenne pepper, rue, red sandalwood, angelica root, cinnamon powder, black salt, bay leaf, dragon's blood resin, crystallized ginger, and black peppercorn.
What about burning resins? I've done that too, on a charcoal.
Yeah.
Frankincense and
you
myrrh
can burn frankincense. Oh, also, other good cleansing and protective herbs that you can use to burn are also Palo Santo, but because Palo Santo and... Is it sage that's also becoming extinct?
No, Palo Santo is becoming really
Palo
extinct.
Santo, yep. Something I learned a couple years back, as a substitute, you can also burn juniper berry. And essentially, juniper berry is actually 100 times stronger than Palo Santo and sage. So when I can, burn juniper berry, dried juniper berry. And what you do is you essentially just burn a disc and then just place the berries on top. And
here's another interesting one that I found. Iron, it's called iron and garlic. Similar to the concept of the witch bottle, is an ancient custom of driving iron spikes, or very large nails, will do as well, into the ground right before each entry of your house. Due to its magnetic qualities, iron creates a field that disrupts the coherence of non-corporeal entities. It kind of he gets too sciencey with some of the stuff he writes, but basically energies. Those iron spikes will manipulate energies, especially of the ancient thinking was it was a defense against spirits. So you put those iron there, and that energy it will disperse that energy.
Where?
That's under iron and garlic.
Yeah, because you can also take railroad spikes.
So that's a beautiful, perfect thing. Yeah.
This is a quick house protection. Is you take railroad iron spikes and you hammer them down into the ground on all four corners of your house. Well, given that your house is 4 areas.
Yeah, I mean, if your house is funky shaped.
More than if it's funky shaped, to just kind of work with it. Yes, because Robin just said, do you ever put something in a liquid, cast a spell on it, and drink it? Yeah, a lot of the time I do it with teas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's divination teas, there's teas for calming. Yeah, a lot of people do that.
Yeah, you can even do that for some ills. I've got a concoction that when you have a cold, that's
ginger.
Made, ginger tea is great when you have a cold. Chamomile is good to relax you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Essentially, tea is herbs.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Here's one: exorcism or banishment. If a house or a person has become haunted or possessed by a malevolent spirit, a ritual of exorcism or banishment should be performed. Light white candles in every room, or place 5 around the person. Draw a pentagram of salt on the floor of each room or around the victim, and sprinkle water into all corners using a sprig of fennel or rosemary. And you say, water, salt, where you are cast, no ill or adverse purpose last. Evil spirits all must flee. As I do will, so mote it be. That's an interesting one. Oh no, that's not even done. Okay, sorry. Then smudge with sage, going throughout the house or around the person. Docile, I believe that's docile is counterclockwise. Alexa, what is docile?
The adjective docile is usually defined as easily managed.
I think it is. Oh no, I had a note.
Alexa, stop. Right, anyways, it's a direction. We'll get back to you on the direction because
yeah, it's docile and Windershin. Docile is clockwise.
Okay, okay, good. Docile is clockwise. What I thought.
And Windershin is counterclockwise.
It's counterclockwise.
I remember having a conversation with this with my hoodoo teacher.
Yeah. So then smudge with sage, going throughout the house or around the person, clockwise, and wafting the smoke into every corner or closet or whatever. You're gonna chant, through smoke of fire I purify. No evil shall remain nearby. Cleansed of harm and ill are ye. As I will, so mote it be. Then finally take your besom and sweep out the entire house, sweeping salt up with the dust, chanting, tout, tout, throughout and about. Let peace remain and strife go out.
That's all for exorcism?
That's an exorcism.
I'll stick to the priest.
Right?
Right. I don't know if if here's a little bit of salt and I'm just going to run some sage and by spirit be gone.
If he ever gets possessed, it's going to be as simple as this. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me get some churching in it. And I'm going to drag his ass to the church. And I'm going to be like, Pastor, fix this mess.
Right. So that's actually interesting. Darcy said that's why cemeteries often have iron gates. And you enter through the gate even if the cemetery does not have a fence.
Yes. Yes, that's because it keeps the energy.
Because iron repels.
Well, it almost keeps the energy inside. Yeah. If you don't, the energy will come with you.
I did do a video on collecting graveyard dirt, the steps, how to enter a graveyard, what you do when you leave, how to cleanse yourself, because even then, with those iron gates, sometimes the spirit does have the ability to leave if it's strong enough, attach stuff to you, and follow you back. So that is why it's important to follow steps of cleansing yourself before and
so we
after.
sage and cleanse ourselves, spray with the flower and water. Yep. So Daisha says people often put iron gates around their front yard, or I often see iron gates at the end of driveways. I want to put a moat. But no, yeah, it's the same principle as a cemetery. It keeps the negative energize out. Anyways, we got anything else? We'd be going for an hour.
Oh, I actually have protection powder here for you guys. If you want. So in this protection powder, I have black salt as the base, adding a little bit of red brick dust, agrimony, cascaria powder, frankincense resin, Solomon seal root. This is all ground up, obviously. White sage, and that was it.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I have a protection Grisi charm bag that consists of a single chicken foot finger, a penny, myrrh oil, black tourmaline, bay leaf, and witch's burr.
Witch's burr.
Hold on, I'm just going through my stuff here. Let's see if I have.
Yeah, I can keep. Let's see what else I got here.
Ancestral consecration. This is all ancestral.
We get into the infant. Oh, here's an interesting one. I'm going completely off topic because there's all kinds of spells. But what about manifestation? To make a wish.
Topic.
Well, this is fun
because we're talking about protection.
Well, all right. Then I don't have
any manifestation right now.
Well, I don't know if I have any more protection.
Well, I'll talk about this because someone did bring up just very quickly about. Oh, also, guys, your ancestors are also a very good line of defense when it comes to protection, because you can send them out to do work for you. So
here's one. When passing a cemetery, cross your fingers, hold your breath, and say aloud this verse for death. Okay. Keeper of bones, I know thy face, but I shall yet outstrip thy pace. That's interesting.
Wait, what is that?
It's just when passing a cemetery, a little quickie, a quickie.
Wait, what's that elemental protection charm? That looks interesting.
Yeah, on a piece of parchment, write the following words: air cannot freeze me, fire cannot burn me, water cannot drown me, earth cannot bury me. Roll it into a tight tube, tie it with a red cord or yarn, and carry it in your mojo bag.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that protects you from some elements. Yeah.
Sorry, hold on. I'm just trying to find this question. Oh, so Claire just asked, what do you do to connect with your ancestors? So ancestors in hoodoo are a very big staple of what hoodoo is about. We do a lot of ancestral work. We tap into the energies and the magics of the ancestors when we do our spell casting, because we basically call on them for help, for guidance. We draw upon their power and energy to amplify any work that we're doing. Mm-hmm. We can use them in times of need. So basically, how to honor your ancestors. Where's that damn question? Hold on.
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to find it to put up on the screen.
Saw it and then where'd it go?
Yeah, I can't find it on the thing.
I just saw it. Oh, here it is. What do you do to connect with your ancestors? So to connect with your ancestors, it's super simple. Set up an ancestral altar, which is number 1. It can be as simple as putting a picture of your ancestors on a white piece of cloth on a table with a fresh vase of flowers and water, because the flowers will act as an offering to the ancestors, and water will act as a conduit of energy and a focal point for the ancestors' energy to kind of come. That sounds good.
Try to make his ancestors come.
Stop. Don't take it there, Dave. But to create that connection with them, you just have to treat them as if you're talking to someone, one of your best friends. Talk to them every day, light a candle, a white candle, have a conversation with them. Talk to them about your day. If you have anything that's pressing on your mind, your worries, concerns, fears, how whatever happened during the day or whatever happened a few days ago, anything really. And then just, that's the only way to make a connection with them, is just talking to them daily about anything and everything, because that's the best way to connect with them.
I think that's the best way to connect with anything. I talk like that to my deities.
Yeah. Yep.
I sit here and have conversations.
Yeah.
Because
think of it this way. With whatever deity you are trying to work with, you can't just light a candle, ring a bell, summon them, and then say, hey, yo, Apollo, so
over here.
I need this love spell done ASAP. Thanks. You think you can do that? Okay. I'm going to go wash my car. You go do that, and I'll meet you back here in 20 minutes.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't work that way.
It's like in that movie Office Space. What did that guy say? Like, that would be great. If you could take care of that, that would be great.
Yeah. Because a lot of people think that working with deities or spirits or the ancestors is, okay, I set up an altar, I gave you some offerings, and that's all the work that I need.
Yeah.
And I'll just ring the bell and tell you what I want you to do. It doesn't work like that.
Which I do. Like, even I have like my deities set up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's more like a relationship.
Yeah. You have to build a relationship, because it's like with anyone. Would you walk up to a random stranger that you've never met before and just tell them, hey, dude, my car needs fixing. Can you go under the hood and fix it for me? And that's it.
And tell that person you have an altar set up in your house dedicated to them.
Yeah, right. Like, people aren't gonna like be willing to do something for you if they don't know who the hell you are.
Yeah.
So it's important to create that bond between you and the deity or the ancestors, because they'll get to know you more. They'll get to kind of understand you. You'll get to understand them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just respect, essentially, is what it comes down to.
It's respect and just being part of. Yeah.
And getting to know them is showing them, like, hey, I have put in the time to appreciate what you're doing for me. Because essentially you're working together. It's not like it's all about you and they're going to just be willing to work with you, because remember, you're just one of thousands of other people around the world that they work with.
Yeah.
So they're running around doing all these things. You need to create that relationship with them to show them, like, hey, you are important to me. I'm not just using you whenever I need you to.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how I interact with my deities. Yeah. Even Jesus, when I'm, praying, is the contemporary word for it. I just keep it in real words. And sometimes I've been known to be like, come on, guys, what's going on up there? Just send me a break.
Very, very good question. So MK just asked, when do you think someone is ready to work with deities, spirits, and saints?
A great way to know is when they reach out to you, and you'll know.
Mm-hmm. Actually, the way that I've done it, because when I was working in Santeria, I obviously had never worked with the Orishas before. And I wanted to know, okay, so how do I know when they're accepting of me and when they're ready to work with me? One really, really, really good way to know is to fill a glass with water and wait. Because if you start to see bubbles that appear in the glass, it means that they're there, they're hearing you, and that they're ready to work with you. If there's nothing, then you gotta build a little bit more of a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Before they're ready to work with you.
Yeah, for me, it's been kind of a sense of feeling. Like, out of the blue, I mean, two deities that I work with sometimes are Apollo and Bear Samedi. And both of them just spoke to me.
And you'll know when they're around. Like, you'll know it.
They were just there.
So, for example, when I work with my ancestors, the second they're next to me, they're always next to me, but when their energy is starting to build, I feel it's like this huge wave of energy just courses through my entire body. I'll get this huge kind of like shiver, positive one, and like all the hairs on my non-existing arm. Well, wait, the non-existing the non-existing hairs on my arms stand up. Non-existing arm. My arm's not there. They're invisible. No, but you'll feel it. Everyone gets this feeling of knowing that they're there. It's like hard. Everyone has a different experience, but you will definitely know. It's something that you just have a gut feeling. You're like, oh, yep, they're here.
And, meditate to reach out to them too. Mm-hmm. That gets you into the, when I meditate or, I will basically, you could call it journeying or whatever you want to call it. I get good and high and I meditate. Yeah. I try to astral travel and just kind of get into a deep meditation, and they'll present themselves to you in that form. I met my spirit animal that way, in a very deep,
and think of it this way:
psychedelic meditation.
Let's put it this way, because meditation is very key when it comes to working with deities and ancestors, at least to me, because the deities, the ancestors are, to me, an extension of who you are. So if your brain, your mind, your energy is all revved up and all over the place, they're going to be all revved up and over the place because you're like, oh my God, and they're like, okay, slow down, buddy. I have no idea what you're talking about. So when you meditate, it gives you that clear mind, that clear energy, and it focuses you. So in turn, they're focused and they're able to understand what it is that you're asking of them.
Yeah. Yeah. MK says, thanks. That makes sense. Yeah. It's like a relationship with anyone else. I have a very casual approach to my spirituality.
Yeah, no problem, MK. It's everyone goes through that. Even for me in the very beginning, before I started everything, I was like, oh, okay, so I want to work with this deity, but will they want to work with me? How do I know they're going to want to work with me? How do I know when they're here? What do I do? How do I start off? And over the years, you learn different techniques. You learn, okay, so these are the staple things that you can have on that are universal for any altar. You learn like, okay, every deity that you work with, they have certain things they like. So you can add those to your altar. Your altars are constantly changing over time.
Yeah.
And the way you do things evolves over time.
Yeah.
Like the things I do now, I didn't do in the very beginning. I had a whole different system.
Yeah, something else you can do is get a statue of a deity and just put it on your altar or put it somewhere and use that as the physical manifestation of them. And, you'll find as you work with that, you'll build that relationship. Now, me, of course, it was the opposite. I felt a calling to work with Apollo. And I got the statue afterwards because where did I see that statue? I think it was in the mall. I want to saw it in the mall, and it just spoke to me. It's like, oh yeah, I have to bring that home. And then I got the other ones to go with it. I got Zeus and Apollo's sister, Diana, or what's her name? The Romans called her Diana. What's her name in Greek?
Demeter.
Is it Demeter?
Yeah. Mother of Persephone, right?
No.
Apollo's
sister.
Apollo's sister is
I call her Diana.
Artemis.
Thank
you, Denise.
Artemis. Yes. The Greeks call her Artemis. I'm of Roman descent, so because I'm Italian, so I call her Diana, but it's the same one. Thanks, Denise. Brain just doesn't sometimes want to work. I'm tempted. I gotta go look out the window to see how much we're getting buried. Oh my God, we are getting buried with snow.
Yeah,
it's like burying. Oh yeah.
So actually, here's a good thing, because a lot of the time people debate whether or not to put a statue of a deity on their altar or not. To me, a statue is like a big version of a puppet or a voodoo doll. Because a voodoo doll or a puppet or a whatever you want to call it is used in representational magic. It's used as a conduit to represent a target that you're using. So when it comes to a statue of a deity, to me, it's just one big conduit for the deity's spirit to reside in while you're talking to them.
Yeah, and for me, it helps envision them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it helps give me a face to talk to. You know,
and what's cool about that is you can envision it however you want. A lot of the time, people are like, "Oh, you can't have this statue because it doesn't look like that deity at all." But it's like, how would anyone know what any of these deities actually looked like? Because they're essentially amplifications of nature. They're spirits. They're not actual beings that walked on this earth.
Well, I wonder about some of the Greek ones.
But like, so for example, Persephone, at one point, I had a statue of Virgen de Guadalupe as a representation of Persephone. The reason being is because to me, I don't know, it's just something about that statue that to me it represents who she is.
Don't I have her somewhere? I thought I had
her.
Persephone's right there. She is. Yeah, she's on my altar. She's standing next to Jesus, of all people.
And yeah, I think it's beautiful when people have different statues that aren't necessarily quite exactly what the deity may have looked like, because a deity can take many shapes and forms. To me, it's about having something that represents to you what they are.
Yeah, and I tend to go by like the statues. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
But you're right, because when Benwan Samdi reached out to me, it was actually that, and I thought it was Papa Legba, because I didn't even know who like they were. They were on your table over there, and it just started. I had a 15-minute conversation with him without even realizing it, and so he gave me the stat. But it's just what do you call that?
What?
The statue there? It's kind of like
it's an altar puppet.
An altar puppet.
An altar doll. Altar doll.
Oh, an altar doll.
Yeah.
And,
But yeah, also because a lot of the time people statues can be quite expensive, especially if you get like the ones that Dave has. Those were really expensive.
Yeah, they were pricey.
So a lot of the time, if you don't have the money to get these expensive statues for them, you can always. I love going to thrift stores and finding statues that to me represent who they are, because when you think about it, in Santeria, the Orishas are represented one way, but they're also what's the word when they're connected to they can be connected to the saints. So some people intertwine the saints statues.
Well, they're interchangeable.
Because they're interchangeable. Some people represent an Orisha through a saint or a statue of the Orishas.
Yeah.
So that's why I believe that you can have whatever statue that you feel represents the deity the most.
Yeah. Because it comes back to the basic that it's all your intent, right? Some people work with deities without even having statues of them.
Yeah, syncretism. Thank you, Kay.
Syncretism.
Thank you. And Darcy just said you should watch Noah's 3 Sons on YouTube. It goes over the descent of humans from Ham Africa to Shem Arabia and Japheth white people. It shows great pictures of these people looked like. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, we should try it.
MK just said, some people say that beginners shouldn't do deity work yet. I sort of disagree, but I'm still a beginner. So honestly, guys,
it's all one wants to. They will reach out to you.
Yeah, they will reach out to you.
Be patient.
Be patient. Meditate. Talk to them like you would. All it really is, guys, it's just about research on the deity. Find out what they like, what they dislike, their personalities.
But they'll let
who they represent, because that will help when it comes to setting up an altar. When you set up a simple altar for them, hey, you could have literally a candle, a picture of them, literally a picture frame with a picture of them on it, a glass of water as an offering, incense, and there's your altar.
Yeah, you don't need to do anything crazy.
Altars don't have to be elaborate.
They'll let you know. Follow your heart.
Yeah.
Do a little research, because there's a lot. Just go do a quick Google search.
Yeah.
You'll find like Apollo likes bay leaves and
like Dave's offerings to him. He literally just burns bay leaves. That's it.
Yeah.
And lights obviously a candle and burns incense. What kind of incense do you use? Don't you give him I forgot what one you burn. But anyways, that's all he does.
It's in the drawer. There's a particular.
For me, my staple offerings to ancestors or any deity that I've worked with, because in Voodoo and Santeria, a lot of them are similar, and they all kind of use similar offerings. But I always make sure I have a glass of water for them. I always leave them maybe rum or something. Certain deities, I'll then give them like that extra thing. So, for example, Papa Legba, I'll leave him a cigar. Patchouli.
I burn the patchouli incense. This is the one I burn. Actually, it's just we bought it from it's just written patchouli number 20.
But yeah, even if you have an altar for the deity, it can be super simple, because what it comes down to is the most important thing is creating that bond with the deity. That's the number one importance that a lot of people forget, because they always forget. They think, it's all about the altar, what's on the altar. They think it's about what's the altar itself, what's on the altar. But no, it's essentially the connection that you make with the deity itself. Yeah. That's the most important. So even as a beginner, all it takes is just research the deity, know what they like, dislike, personality, who they are, what they like, set up a quick little altar, and just start talking to them.
Just talk to them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, no problem, NK. If you have any questions ever, feel free to ask.
Yeah, don't forget, down in the Hoosiki, it's over here.
Hi, Kendra. Right, how are you? Right there. We missed you too. It's been a while since we've gone live. Well, other than yesterday.
Join the Facebook group, Cross Paths.
Yeah, we're always posting
on
things,
questions and answers, stuff like that.
Lots of fun things go on in our group. Yeah, nice little tight knit family.
But it's a good place to post some of these questions, because there's a lot of.
And what's awesome about our group, guys, on Facebook is we're all inclusive. We have a lot of different practices from around the world. We have shamanism, we have voodoo, witchcraft, druid. We have a full range of different practices. Yeah. So we're all about embracing different practices. We don't tolerate bullying of any form.
And I'm the thumping good wizard.
What's that term that everyone was saying? Not tailgating. We don't gatekeeping. We don't do that.
What the hell is that?
Gatekeeping is where you literally are like very you micromanage the group. So you basically like allow these certain things, and I hate it. We do not do that where you have to like post something in the group and then it has to be approved. We don't believe in that. Yeah, post whatever you want, guys, in the group, and as long
we don't go crazy fighting. We don't go crazy with the whole trigger warning thing. No. If you want to post something, trigger warning. I mean, it's in our rules. There was another group where someone posted a picture of a crystal dick, and I don't know, all hell broke loose. Look, you want to post a picture of a crystal dick, go right ahead.
Yeah. We're very laid back in the group. As long as there aren't any racial things going on or
that's what,
bullying of any form, we're very super laid back group.
Any crazy politics.
It's a very tight-knit group, and you guys would love it if you haven't joined. Everyone's super supportive of each other.
Kendra says it's laid back and fun.
Yeah.
Especially when we're riding the bus.
Anyways,
which I'm going to start doing it about
for how long now?
An hour and 23 minutes.
I'm actually surprised we went on for that long.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Right before we were freaking out going, do we have enough information? But no, I'm surprised it took that long.
Yeah.
Anyways, tomorrow I actually will be going live, guys. Was 6 o'clock good, or did you want me guys to go on a little bit later? I'm still trying to gauge like what is the best time to go on.
But tomorrow we have a good to call your mom.
Oh, we do. Crap. Okay, just kidding. I won't be going on tomorrow because we have a phone call with my mom. I'll probably go on Tuesday or Wednesday. No, are we doing readings on Wednesday?
Yes, we are.
Okay, just kidding. I'll be going on Tuesday.
And
and I will be doing ancestor stuff. I'll show you guys my altars. We'll talk more about how to set up altars, basics. I'll show you guys what my altars look like. They've changed. And fun stuff like that.
And Kendra, my friend, I've graduated from the bus. I'm flying the plane. Oh, that whole bus thing's never gonna get old. I love it. But yeah.
I love that. Leanne just said rules are easy. Don't be a dick, but you can post a picture of a crystal one. That's
there
awesome.
you go. I love it. I love
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And
this was fun.
I will see you guys Tuesday for my altar stuff, ancestral altar setups, the different altars that I have, talking about them. And then we will see you for Wednesday night readings.
Wednesday night reading, cracking out the cards.
And then Friday night popcorn party.
Cracking out the cards, bitches. Get them reading.
So, hope you all have a good night. And thank you, everyone, for coming. Love you guys. Bye.
Oh, I should get the thing ready.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. I got a pop-up over here. Look at this. Let's get the... Bum, bum.